Here's something worth a look. An old church. Really nice. Let's have a look inside. Not much left. Some people made a fire pit. A neat construction though. Look at that dome. It's a shame that it was left in disrepair. Look at the roof. It looks like it's ready to collapse. Hi, this is Gilles, the radio prepper, and today I'm operating at the Granges de la Brasque, barns, basically, and I'll show them to you. You saw the church. That place was a telegraphy and early radio post for the military. So very interesting history here. And one of the reasons, I chose this place and someone suggested it. So thanks, Thierry, and a really magnificent place. I was hoping for more of a view and more of a remote place, but it's pretty nice though. It's very tall trees, and so that's going to be good. I'm going to have a look around with the drone real quick, and then I'll go walking and look at those barns. So here are the military barracks. I wonder where the transmitter and telegraph operators were. There are plenty of those little barns around, hence the name, I guess. And there are a bunch of them over there, but it's kind of a refuge, so I'm not going to be staying there, so I'm not going to be trespassing. So all these constructions were part of the Maginot line, which was built on the eastern border of France to prevent invasion from the Germans. Didn't quite work. What they did, they just went up north and went through Belgium. I hope you don't mind a little bit of history and look around. You let me know in the comments, but I know you want to get to the radio stuff, so let's get to it. I found a pretty nice spot, and I really would like to throw a wire up that pine tree there. That would be great. I haven't equipped my drone with a cable release system yet, so too bad I can't use it to throw the wire up that tree right on top. But I'll find some kind of rock and fishing line, and I'll just give it a shot. All right, let's try this guy. That was a very good throw. So I was able to throw that wire pretty darn high. I think it's probably, I don't know, 50 feet, something like that. So very happy about that. That's going to help a great deal, especially that I do have to test the couple ununs that I started testing and to complete the video. So that's going to be using a 41-foot wire, 12.5 meters, I believe. And I will compare the two ununs, but that's going to be in a different video, not this one. This one is going to be more about, yeah, just operating and hopefully on 80 meters since, you know, I threw that wire pretty high. I think I'm going to be able to have a long wire, 134-foot wire, and that should work really, really well on 80 meters. I brought my Elecraft K1 and I brought my Minion SDR, so two great radios. So I think it's going to be a good night. I have my 41-foot wire, which is a random wire because it's not a half wave, and I have my 9-to-1 Unun. The more I use random wires with a 9-to-1, the less I like them, and we'll get back to that later. Now I have to raise this antenna. I'll add a 10-meter counterpoise so that my coax shield doesn't take up that role. All right, I think that should do it. I plugged in my choke. I know I'm going to need it. And I have this time my Elecraft T1 tuner. And of course the Minion SDR. Yeah, green, okay. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee.
C'est 40 km ouest de la ville de Florence. Contrôle pour ça, sur toi, 5-8-5-9. Florida 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Italie, Québec 2, X-ray, Zanzibar, stroke 5. À toi.
Merci beaucoup pour le report. Je suis en train de tester une antenne. I'm testing an antenna, so 5859, very good. Maybe I will call you maybe in 5-10 minutes for another report. Thank you very much.
5-8-5-9, 5-8-5-9. Mon transceiver 7-8 unité and dipole antenna, my friend. 73, merci beaucoup pour le contact. À bientôt, mon ami.
Merci encore, 73. Je vais peut-être appeler tout à l'heure pour un autre report. Maybe I'll call later for another report. Thank you. Foxtrot 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee, back to you.
Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee, France 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Le pronom ici c'est Arnaldo, Alpha Romeo Nancy, Alpha Lima, Delta Oscar Arnaldo. Je suis en train d'employer un radio de construction maison en puissance à peu près 500 watts, 5 watts. À côté de la ville de Bergamo, dans le nord de l'Italie. Bravo, Victory, Golf, Alpha, Mike, Oscar. À toi, mon ami, France 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Italy, Kilo, 2 November, Bravo, Uniform.
Thank you very much, and I'll give you your report. You are a good 5-6 here in the south of France, in the mountains, close to La Vésubie. Victor Echo, Sierra Uniform, Bravo, India Echo. How is my signal? Back to you.
Okay, I see. Speak English if you prefer. Okay. Your signal 5 and 5, 5 and 3, a little bit QML. Condition pattern is not excellent, and a little bit QL breaker between South France and Italy in this moment. Okay, my name is Arnaldo, Alpha Romeo Nancy, Alpha Lima, Delta Oscar. You can see the picture of my brew equipment on QRZ.com.
And here I'm setting up my 80-meter operations. This is going to be my new operating position. The wire goes a little bit over those branches here and goes to that tall pine tree. It's pretty far. A 40-meter, 134-foot wire is pretty darn long. So I threw a little rock here in the tree, and I have some paracord, and it goes to my transformer. Now, this is my go-to antenna, guys. This is a tiny 64-to-1 transformer. It's very, very small. Now that my antenna is up, I really have to set up camp because I don't want to be freezing my butt off tonight. So I have a perfect spot for my tent. Hopefully it's legal here. I think it's legal to bivouac, but you can't camp. Well, camping is not allowed, but I think if you pitch your tent after a certain time, like 7 p.m. and you take it out before 7 a.m. and it's not above a certain height, and it's a whole shebang. It's a whole thing. You have to go to respect the laws here. And this is not a natural park. It's a dominial forest, so it should be legal for me to bivouac and not being bothered. But I don't think anybody's going to come here anyway. All right, check this out. First class accommodations with the ORC improved combat shelter. And that's a great tent. And I never got cold in that tent, even in the Pyrenees. I'm winded. And I just had a long conversation with my friend Marco, F40XR. And he almost showed up with with some food, and that's great. Next time he'll come along. It's getting a little chilly here. Put my little jacket, but I don't have a sweater. I should have brought a sweater. I'm going to show you my operating position here. Here I have of course, Minion SDR. That's the drone stuff, and the Elecraft K1. So I'm going to, oh, and my tent is right there. So I'm going to start with the Minion SDR LSB, and then I'll move on to I'll try probably a little bit of CW on the Minion just to test it, and then I'll switch to the master of CW, the Elecraft K1. F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee, Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. It works perfectly, 1.5 to 1, excellent. Lots of static crashes, that's typical of 80 meters, of course. But very strong signals too. Lots of Italians. Unfortunately, I don't speak Italian.
Bonsoir, vous êtes 149 en point pour le diplôme, Gilles, allez-y.
Oui, merci beaucoup. Je suis ici dans les montagnes en portable, dans la montagne altitude de 1700 mètres, 1700 mètres. Je vais vous donner votre signal, allez-y, de Foxtrot 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee.
Ok Gilles, il a de bruit de fond, il a de gros écho dans votre émission, mais j'ai bien compris, donc vous êtes portable, et je regarde que vous habitez, habituellement vous habitez à Nancy. Voilà, merci beaucoup pour le contact, Gilles, je vous souhaite une très bonne soirée, et à la prochaine podcast WB Bravo Yankee H9OAU.
Merci beaucoup, une très bonne soirée, et votre signal est 9 plus 10, 9 plus 10. Bonne soirée de F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. So maybe a little bit of RF still could be. But he understood everything I said and just said a little bit of echo. Good contact. No food, but I had a bee in my bag. Just found it, forgot I put it there. Small things. Alright guys, I'm trying to do some CW with the Minion SDR, but once again there are some RF problems. It's just, it seems to be very sensitive to RF current. And of course I'm using my hand-fed antenna, half-wave hand-fed on 80 meters, and it should work fine. And I'll try it with my K1, but I'll try to call here. Listen to that. Doesn't work, see. Problem. Too sensitive to RF. Not doing very good tonight. Oh, that was short. Joe. He's still making some mistakes, but he's getting better. I'm going to slow down a bit, maybe. I'm at 16. That's good. I'm glad to make contact with him because we do practice Morse code sometimes using CW, and all right, guys, I'm freezing my butt off, but that was fun. I like to make that contact with Marco, a good friend of mine here, local, and that's what 80 meters works really well for. Even though I'm in the mountains here, we can communicate because of NVIS, and it might be direct, but it could be NVIS, and that's why I call, and lots of people call the 80-meter band the regional telephone. That's what I call it because that's what it's good for, and I'm very happy to have had that contact. He's still making mistakes, but he's learning. He's learning because it was worse. It was worse before, but now he's doing. I can communicate. We can have a meaningful conversation. It takes a little bit of time, but it is much better. So I have to. We have to keep practicing together, and he'll get those mistakes out of the way. And then he's. I mean, he's got a good speed. It's just those little glitches. But hey, that's again that's how you learn. And it's a good point that you should try to go in the air even though if you're still making mistakes. I think it's important. It doesn't really matter. Nothing bad's gonna happen if you mess up a few words. It's the sky is not gonna fall on your head and or nothing like that. So it's even though you may not feel very confident, just go ahead and do it. I'm gonna put the K1 away and everything else, and get a good night of sleep. Man, what a day, but not very lucky on the not many contacts, but who cares. I'm out here in nature. Actually, you can't see anything because it's so dark, but it's a very good night, and I'm having a great time, and that's what it's all about for me. It's radio is not something you do at home on the couch. That's all there is to it. You have a good tent, a good sleeping bag. That's all you need, I'll tell you. I didn't even take my shirt off. I didn't bring anything else. Yeah, it's really nice, and I'm pretty tired, but as soon as I got into the tent, I was getting warmer, and I know I'm going to sleep pretty well, so see you guys later. Can you see it? Well, I didn't sleep really well, but I usually don't, so I set up my PAR unfed antenna It's for 40, 20 and 10 meters. I might try on 20 for sure, and maybe on 40 this morning. It's let's see, 9 a.m. local. So let's see. I have the Minion SDR plugged in, and I'll just try. I think that's Russian. Lots of Russians, it seems, this morning. Not a whole lot of propagation, it seems. It seems to be a whole lot more people on 40 meters.
Quando c'è così, che porca miseria, mi dispiace per gli amici qui che appunto segnale un po' più basso. Today, so I had to rest it yesterday and today, but it's feeling a lot better today, so another day's rest and I can get back
Well,
on with the garden.
that's a British accent if I ever heard one.
Golf 7 Mike India Mike.
Fox 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Fox 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. I don't know if you heard me.
Sorry, no copy. La stazione è francese, Florida 4, again.
Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Nope.
No, negative. Again, Florida 4.
Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Whiskey Bravo Yankee.
Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Whiskey Bravo Yankee? Sì. Florida 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Florida 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. 5x5, 55 QRM.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You are 5 by 6, 5-6 here in the south of France in the mountains. Over.
Roger, thanks so much. 73, good luck. Thanks so much. Sorry for my mistake. Italia Zulu 2 Golf Tango Oscar Vadi 59.
All right, well, one contact. F4WBY.
Je confirme, il y a une station qui signale derrière, mais c'est inaudible. Vous avez un gros problème d'audio.
Oui, effectivement, j'ai un problème de RF sur la radio. Hein. Vous me recevez?
Alors c'est inaudible. On n'entend que du bruit. Je sais pas, Olivier, t'as deviné?
RF problem on the Minion SDR. That's an issue. It's a big one. Well, it's a good thing I didn't wait for the weekend to go out in the woods because it's raining and it's supposed to rain the whole weekend. So, oh, by the way, if you want a Radio Preppers shirt, I'll put the link in the description and I'll tell you, it's a chick magnet. Alright, so conclusions, little quick. The Minion SDR, great radio, I love it. But you absolutely have to use an RF choke with it. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems. And you saw what happened when I didn't use one. So I'm also going to get a clip-on ferrite for the microphone cable, and probably put ferrites on my Morse key cable as well. So that plus the little choke that I just built. It seems to work fine, so but you can't forget your RF choke at home, otherwise in some antennas it works, there's absolutely no problem. Other antennas you run into problems, so it's kind of unpredictable that way, and it's definitely more sensitive to stray RF currents than my other radios. Again, it's a great radio, it doesn't mean it's a bad radio, but you have to take certain precautions. Now on random wires using a 9-to-1 Unun, like I said, the more I use them, the less I like them really. I think it's much better to use a half-wave and fed with a 49-to-1 or a 64-to-1 transformer and have no RF current problems and tuning problems. The wire is longer, yes, but it's just much less trouble than using a random wire, so not a half wave with a 9-to-1 Unun. And that's why I'm mostly going to use 49-to-1 and 64-to-1 transformers in the future. Still, there is a use for them when your antenna is just too short, or you're just limited to a shorter antenna or a whip antenna. In that case, yes, they're great. But for longer antennas, just stick to a half wave. Also, this experiment and many others before kind of again reinforces my opinion that you must have 80 meters because it's really for regional communications, portable operations, you need 80 meters. You can get away probably with 40 meters if you're closer to the equator. But if you're further up north, although I'm not very far north here, but 80 meters works really, really well for regional communications. And at last, again, also, my opinion that voice modes are not your best bet. I think that you're much better off using CW with Morse code or digital modes. Voice modes require a little bit more power, which you may have or you may not. So, you do save a lot of energy, electricity by using modes that are more efficient than even USB or LSB. Not that you shouldn't have them, but just keep in mind that it's not going to be as reliable as CW or digital modes. I hope you liked the video. If you want to help this channel, please see the patreon.com link at the bottom. And I'll see you soon. Have a good one.